One of our favorite local locations is the Franklin Cider Mill, and that is opening very soon on August 31st, Saturday, August 31st in Franklin, Michigan. Joining us now on the program to talk about this year's grand opening and all the fun happening at Franklin Cider Mill this fall, Melanee Radner, the owner of the Franklin Cider Mill. Melanee, thanks for being with us today. Glad to have you on to talk about the opening of Franklin Cider Mill. Of course, exciting day coming up this Saturday, August 31st, the first day. What can people expect on day one over at the Franklin Cider Mill?
Well, day one, we are always up and ready to go to greet all of our happy customers. We open up at 8 a.m. and usually a line forms usually around 7:30 to get our, hot donuts and our fresh cold cider. And I heard it's going to be a hot day, so our cider slush machines are going to be rolling and rolling for everybody to grab their cider slush.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like that first taste of fresh cider from your local cider mill to really bring you into fall. We've got back to school, we've got high school football, college football, and more, but that cider mill experience really is one of a kind. So how do you keep maintaining that experience that has spanned generations at Franklin Cider Mill?
So I'm actually a third generation, and I used to work here when I was a little girl. My grandfather purchased the mill in the 60s. I was not born yet, and when I was born, all I do is I don't really remember, obviously, my first few years of life, but starting at the age of 7, my parents brought me in here every weekend, started like learning things, and I've worked here. And I feel like my goal in the cider mill is to keep it feeling like the original cider mill. So I try to keep everything with the same experience that everybody experienced as a child, young child like myself, into bringing in their grandchildren generation after generation. So every time somebody comes, they're like, oh my God, the mill has not changed at all. It is the same as I remember. And that is what I try to do, is keep everything feeling the same, but yet keeping up with the times as we have to nowadays.
And what's that experience like on your side? You've been involved in this for generations, as you said, through your family and working there as a kid, but also to know that, look, it's in Franklin, we cover greater West Bloomfield, but that really does tell the story. So many communities do converge over at Franklin Cider Mill as their local favorite. So for someone that's involved on the business side of that, what's it like for you to experience all these different communities and generations of those communities congregating at your facility every year?
I actually love it. I think it's so incredible for me to watch all these communities come together, like exactly what you said: West Bloomfield, Farmington Hills. We have Livonia, Southfield, Detroit, Rochester, Romulus. Everybody does come over here. We're a unique cider mill. We're not the typical cider mill like everyone else always usually goes to. We are a more, I would call it, like a boutique cider mill. Everybody comes, it's friendly, it's warm. You can get, an easy parking place, and people come and they see all the different generations of different people and all the different cities come together, and it's just a happy place. And for me, watching everybody be so happy gives me, a great sense of pride that I've been able to keep up this family tradition for not only my family but for everyone else's family.
And something, Melanee, that has been a point of emphasis in recent years for the cider mill is increasing that accessibility for people across all of our communities to come in there and still have that experience no matter, excuse me, where they may be at in life. So what has gone into that focus, or what has changed maybe at the Franklin Cider Mill to increase accessibility for your patrons?
Okay, so what we started doing is when I stepped in 2019, we brought in credit cards. Prior to credit cards, we were a cash, along with, ATM machines. Credit cards has really saved most of our patrons a lot of headaches if they didn't have cash, if they weren't able to stop at the bank. So bringing in credit cards was a huge thing. I've tried to keep up, we're still in the original building from, the 1800s. So I try to keep everything looking the same. Other than painting and cleaning and repairing what we need to repair, we keep everything the exact same. So when they come, they have the same exact experience. Our hot donuts we're still one of the only cider mills to serve hot, fresh donuts as they come off the press. Nothing is sitting on a shelf longer than 30 seconds. Our cider is made fresh every single day. It is cold. We have a unique, different variety of apples that we mix into our cider every week, depending on the apples that are the ripest at that time. We do bring in Honeycrisp cider early on, and Honeycrisp is one of our top sellers because we are also one of the only cider mills that makes a pure Honeycrisp apple cider. So we do have a lot of unique products here compared to any of the other cider mills. So I feel like it's an easy stop for people to stop at for work. They stop here on their way, they run in. We also now order online ordering so they could go onto their phone, do an order ahead of the time, and pull up to our window, get out of the car, jump up on our porch, grab their order to go. So that was something that we brought into our building in 2020 when the coronavirus came. So I feel that we've really kept up our end of the bargain on our sides, and we are continuing to hopefully be one of the best cider mills in the state of Michigan since we keep being voted #1. So
More information can be found on the Franklin Cider Mill, including ordering information and all of their updates for this upcoming season. FranklinCiderMill.com. You can also follow them on Facebook at Franklin Cider Mill, Instagram at the Franklin Cider Mill as well. With us on the program is the owner of the Franklin Cider Mill, Melanee Radner, on today's edition of the Splash Live. And something that's been highly anticipated coming into this season, the return of the famous cider dogs coming back at the Franklin Cider Mill. Take us through that and how much excitement has been behind the return of the staple.
So the cider dog, which I think is great that people love it so much. We take our jumbo hot dogs and we marinate them in our freshest apple cider overnight, and then we grill them on a grill outside, and people line up for those cider dogs. They are unique to us. We are the only cider mill that does it once again, and we are known for it. And like I said, our apple cider is the best cider in the state of Michigan. So the way that our cider dogs taste still has a hot dog taste with a little bit of a sweetness to it, and people love it. We also do serve regular hot dogs if somebody isn't interested in the cider dog, but the cider dog is what we're really known for, and we're really excited to start that on Saturday, August 31st.
And it says right there on their sign, a family tradition at the Franklin Cider Mill, as Melanee said. It all opens up on Saturday. Melanee, before we let you go, anything else that people should be keeping an eye out for this late summer and, of course, throughout the fall at the Franklin Cider Mill?
Well, we have a lot of exciting weekend, little different this year. We're going to be sending out something through our emails and on our website, which will be starting on August 31st of upcoming events. We do have the Farmington band coming. We have a swing band coming. We're going to do some Halloween festival things. We're going to have different fun things every weekend planned this year. So please look out on our website at franklincidermill.com to look for all the upcoming events that I guarantee your family wouldn't want to miss.
Expanded sales this summer and fall, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily over at the Franklin Cider Mill. It all begins on Saturday, August 31st. Melanee, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.